If there's one program on live television that could very well be considered the worst programming in history, that is of course The View under ABC. And for those of you that do not know, ABC is owned and run by the Walt Disney Company. This is exactly why they use those out there like Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, Sunny Hostin, etc., as the talking heads to really push forward their agenda, their ideology to the public. And it's only getting worse. Now, in particular, we know that Joy Behar is right up there with those like Sunny Hostin and Whoopi Goldberg that spew so much nonsense and lies, and have been doing so, quite frankly, for the past several years. Now, when we look at everything that happened on the SNL 50th anniversary, when Tom Hanks actually portrayed himself as a Trump supporter, that completely backfired on his career. He lost millions upon millions of fans, to the point that even SNL's Lorne Michaels had to step in and cancel other skits that Tom Hanks was going to actually participate in as additional Trump supporters that are now no longer happening. Well, Joy Behar recently actually got in on the drama, and in a shocking turn of events here, she's actually lashing out toward Tom Hanks. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. So, we know that Joy Behar says the most crazy things on live television. If anything, I would definitely say that The View deserves to be cancelled outright and never to be seen again. But we all know at the same exact time, Disney CEO Bob Iger, he is trying to keep The View on air as long as possible, and to any cost that they actually can go through right now. But what's interesting here has a lot to do with Joy Behar calling out Tom Hanks, and for reasons that you would not think of. Let's get into this. Now, with the entire film industry and the media already heading into a financial collapse, one major development going on now involves more to do with Joy Behar lashing out at Tom Hanks after the backlash that he received on SNL and how he handled the backlash and the entire situation. Behar delivered the following: "To be honest, I am very disappointed in Tom. I mean, not for what he did on SNL necessarily for calling out Trump supporters, but for how they actually handled the situation, and how he handled the overall situation, and how, you know, they are all misogynist, sexist, and self-centered people who oppose diversity. But Tom truly failed to deliver every angle of Trump supporters on live television when he had the best chance, and I just thought it was very cowardly of him, and I lost so much respect for him when he disabled comments on his social media platforms after the MAGA crowd erupted with anger toward him. I thought it was very well, not just cowardly for Mr. Hanks, but very weak of him to do something like that. And sure, he called out the MAGA crowd a couple of times after the backlash, but I just think he not only should have convinced NBC to expose the MAGA crowd more, but Mr. Hanks failed to deliver every angle of what's wrong with Trump supporters, and he just seems to be so scared of them. It really makes me lose a lot of faith in Mr. Hanks and his confidence going against Trump supporters and really exposing them for who they really are. I have one message for Tom, and that is just be a man already and take on everything and own those social media comments. Stop hiding and acting cowardly like this. You can just level yourself down and be afraid of these individuals, but it's another thing to keep on doing so. But yeah, looking back at what he did on the 50th anniversary, it just was not enough, and I put some blame on Tom for that, because he could have convinced the showrunners to really go all out on the MAGA people, you know, these terrible people that like to follow a dictator. Tom is just being cowardly and weak, from the words of a loud minority of self-centered Americans that just don't understand what it means to be an American and just how uneducated they truly are. I think Tom just needs to man up already and keep calling them out. I'm just very disappointed with him for acting like someone that runs away when they are confronted or called out. What he did on SNL was a start to really shed the truth on how terrible Trump supporters really are. I lost a ton of respect, however, for Tom after he ducked and covered from Trump supporters and their loud words on social media. Now guys, before I move on, let me just say one thing about Joy Behar. It seems that she missed the moments where Tom did try to do some damage control. He did try to do some kind of way of really, striking back essentially at the critics of SNL, those that had a very big problem with what happened on SNL, and I do agree. that what they did on SNL came from a very bad place. It was terribly orchestrated. It obviously was nothing more than an agenda disguised as comedy. I keep pointing this out because it has to be pointed out, because that's really what it all boiled down to. It was nothing more than just that. And Joy Behar obviously now has a problem with those that are, you know, calling out MAGA, Trump supporters, whatever have you, and then just hiding on social media. And that's exactly what Tom Hanks is doing. He actually disabled comments. He disabled a lot of his social media. And Joy Behar is so weak-minded that she can't really actually realize the fact that there are moments where Tom Hanks did actually already call out the backlash, or called out those critics that actually had a problem with his program on SNL. And look, I'm not supporting Tom Hanks at all. I'm not supporting Joy Behar at all. Don't get that mixed up. I 100% despised Tom Hanks for what he did on SNL's 50th anniversary. And I do believe that it was very, cowardly of him to disable comments. That's not to say that I'm defending Joy Behar. I just find it quite funny that now, and now only in 2025, you have those like Joy Behar that are beginning to call out, people on their side that they once considered an ally, or those that they would look up to when, of course, calling out Trump supporters, right? So now you have like this internal battle going on between those within show business, those within the film industry that were all for, those out there against Trump, that are all of a sudden beginning to break down, right? It's a woke on woke situation, so to speak, is the best way that we can really describe this. Now, in addition to this, she goes on to conclude, we need more actors and those in the industry to be brave and to stand up for what's right for comedy. We are witnessing far too many of those that we look up to, like Mr. Hanks, for example, that just end up running away to share the truth and to remain confident in sharing that message of the lies that Trump supporters spread throughout this country, and how we really need to expose Elon for who he really is and what he represents. If anything, Tom might as well just be silent and remain silent from now on. If he's going to refuse to call out MAGA on social media platforms, you're either with us to expose MAGA or you're not. So there you have it again with Joy Behar. This is the same exact Joy Behar that called Elon Musk an agent and all this crazy nonsense just the other day, and it continues to get worse for The View. This is exactly why The View's ratings, mind you, are very erratic. They're really going nowhere at this point. At one moment they were going very, very sharply down, and it had a moment where it spiked and then it went down sharply again. Even The View fans are beginning to wake up to all the nonsense and lies coming from those like Joy Behar, etc., etc. But again, I find it very funny, I find it very hilarious that we have Joy Behar now calling out Tom Hanks, and not in a way that you would expect. Not that she's calling him out for doing the Trump skit on SNL, but how he handled the backlash from doing that Trump skit is very interesting, to say the least, quite honestly. Now, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about Joy Behar below in the comments, and everything else related to The View, ABC, Disney, etc., etc. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.